Alright guys, today I want to discuss, what is the best cooling setup for your Cherokee. As you guys know, there is, literally if you just type in overheating on Cherokee, like Jeep overheating, you'll get tons and tons and tons of forums, websites, my 4.0's overheating, what do I do, yada yada yada. Oh, this is unplugged, I wonder how that got unplugged. And these motors are kind of known to run hot, that's how they are, but there's people that, do have overheating issues. There's people on forums, just, swap in a Ford Taurus fan, put like a triple core radiator in here, run some special coolant, there's all this stuff online about do this, do that, modify that, move this, let's cut giant holes in the hood. And listen guys, I have 2 Cherokees that have nothing done to them. They are a bone stock cooling system, and I have never once ever overheated any of them. One time this Jeep overheated on me because I didn't realize, didn't even overheat, it was just running hot. I didn't like overheat it. I didn't realize I was leaking a little bit of coolant from here. So after like months and months of driving, I had lost all my coolant. I looked in the reservoir here and I noticed it was full, and I'm like, okay, so I'm not low on coolant. Well, the next day I had to open up my radiator and I was like, oh, it looks a little low, let me pour it in. Lo and behold, I had no coolant in the Jeep. That is the only reason why it overheated on me one day. And like I said, I didn't even overheat it. It was actually still running kind of cool, surprisingly, considering it had no coolant inside of it. But the best cooling setup on these Jeeps, guys, is the factory setup. The factory setup. You don't need to do any modifications to these. Make sure your coolant is green. Pop it open. Make sure it's not all rusty and gooped up. Make sure your coolant is nice and green. You have plenty of coolant in there. You don't have any leaks anywhere. And make sure your fans are working. You can see the mechanical fan here. Make sure the clutch is good. See the play that this gets? See the resistance? I guess you kind of can't see. I'll move my hand so you can see. Look at the resistance on the fan. This is me pushing kind of hard. It barely spins, maybe a quarter of a turn. Okay? Make sure your electric fan is attached. Mine, the guy that I had bought this from, he hooked up a switch for it, so you can turn the fan on and off. All Jeeps are going to come automatic, where the fan just comes on automatically. But in this Jeep, like I said, he had modified it so you can turn it on and off, which is kind of annoying, but also kind of good at the same time. But I have nothing done to this Jeep, and I have driven it in every condition. I've been in temperatures that are 10 degrees outside, and I've also been in temperatures where it's like 95, 90 degrees outside. So I have driven this Jeep in every single weather condition, and like I said, I've never once overheated it. I have nothing done to this, completely stock. Now the only thing that I had done to this, thinking it would help me off-roading going in the trails, is I used the flow cooler water pump. My water pump went bad, and believe it or not, my Jeep actually runs too cold now. My Jeep runs too cold. I actually have an issue now where I can't really get it up to temperature unless I'm at idle for a while or just chilling. So in a way, me trying to modify and do something, an improvement, something larger, actually kind of screwed me. Not screwed me, but it actually wasn't really an upgrade at all. I would have just been better off sticking with the regular factory water pump. But I have noticed you can have cooling problems. If you're overheating, it's because there's a problem, not because it's not cooling properly, not because the Jeep can't cool itself properly. This Jeep, for example, if you see my shroud here is gone, because I noticed when I was driving this around, my electric fan kept clicking on. I'm driving down the road, 60 miles an hour, not even traffic, literally just driving. As I'm driving, I would see my temperature get hotter, and then I'd see my electric fan kick on, and then it'd go back down to normal operating temperature. Well, I was like, well, something is not right here. My electric fan shouldn't keep coming on. There's some type of issue here. And lo and behold, if you look at my fan clutch, see how much play it has? See how much it spins? Look how much it spins. The only reason why my Jeep was getting hotter than what it should be getting is because my fan clutch here is bad. It's got a little bit of play in it. The clutch here is bad. And once again, this Jeep is completely stock. So if you have a Jeep that's overheating, check your radiator, make sure it's not leaking, make sure it's not clogged up. Make sure you're not leaking coolant anywhere. And that's really it, guys. I mean, if worst comes to worst, if you still have an overheating problem and everything looks perfect, I would just upgrade to a 3-core radiator. Get a 3-core radiator. In fact, I wouldn't even do a 3-core radiator. I would do the Mishimoto. Mishimoto makes a upgraded radiator for these. They're kind of expensive. I think they're like $400. But Mishimoto makes a fantastic radiator. And it will definitely cool your Jeep more. So if you are having an overheating issue, the only upgrade I would recommend personally, there's a few upgrades I would recommend even though you don't need them, is a Mishimoto radiator, a ZJ fan clutch, which I bought for this. I did buy a ZJ fan clutch. I'll show you that in a second. It's larger than the stock Jeep clutch, and maybe a little bit of a larger fan, like an electric fan, maybe a little bit larger. That is really it, guys. You don't need to cut holes in your roof. You don't need to get the things where it like pops your hood up in the back. I've seen it where like people have their hood and it like, you know, sticks up in the back a little bit. You don't need any of that. Just drive it around, make sure your coolant's topped off, it looks clean, you know, it's not all gunked up. Like if you look at this Jeep, you know, same thing, guys. It's nice and clean in here. It's got nice green coolant. Even though this is a little low, I might have to just top it off a little bit. My one video, like I said, you know, just as you're driving it, just keep topping it off. So I still may have just a little bit still lower on coolant, but it's fine. It's nice green coolant. If you look down in here, nice green coolant, good to go. So that's really what you need to do to keep these Jeeps cool, guys. I'm telling you, clean coolant, no leaks, and everything is functioning properly the way it should. If all those things work, you are not going to overheat your Jeep. Now, maybe in some situation, sorry for the wind, I'm really trying to block it out. You know, in some situation, if you're in like Arizona or something, where it gets like 110, 120, maybe you would have a different circumstance than I would. I mean, I've never been in that hot of weather before, so in that situation, yeah, maybe hood vents would help you. But I'm telling you guys, if you live in any like of the 48 states that don't go above 100 degrees, you should be fine. And you don't need to modify a whole bunch of stuff to your Jeep to make it run cool. I see people, they eliminate the mechanical fan and they do electrical fans. You know, what happens if your electric fans fail? Well, now you have no fan whatsoever. At least with a mechanical fan, you always have a fan pushing air. And like I said, we'll do another comparison. Look at how this spins. You can see how stiff it is. I can barely even push it. Okay? And that's still a stock fan clutch in there. I don't believe the guy had upgraded the fan clutch. So that's a stock fan clutch. You come over here to this one. Look how much it spins. So that's why this Jeep, my electric fan kept clicking on. Look at it. My fan clutch is shot. Now I'll show you the upgraded ZJ one. If I can get it out. This is it, guys. Okay? That's the new fan clutch. And if you just look at the resistance on here, how hard it is to move. It's like it's so stiff. That's how it should be, nice and stiff like that, not free spinning like this. So start with the basics if you're overheating. Really, I'm telling you guys, these Jeeps will run cool if you just make sure everything is functioning the way it should be functioning. Don't listen to all the people on forums that, oh, my Jeep was running fine and it started to overheat, so I put this magical coolant in and now it runs 10 degrees cooler even on the hottest days. Guys, listen, put green coolant in here, and that's it. Drive it, make sure the coolant's clean. I have seen someone, they ran a coolant filter, Nick and Time Films, which he has a Renix Jeep. He does some cool stuff with his Jeep. Check him out if you want. He has a coolant filter, which I would maybe do on this one day. It's actually a pretty good upgrade, I would say. It just helps keep your cooling system nice and clean, which is what you want. So, I don't know, that's it. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I've already, at this point, I'm just rambling on. So, you don't need anything special to keep your Jeeps running cool, guys. Don't buy aftermarket stuff, some stuff that, you know, is supposed to be some miracle coolant or, you know, helps keep your Jeep 10 degrees cooler. Just buy all the factory stuff. They weren't overheating when they came out from the factory, and if they're overheating now, it's because there's a problem somewhere. So, alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and take care.